Thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Business of Fun podcast. I'm your host, Dave Wakeman. Today's episode is brought to you by my friends at Booking Protect, the global leaders in refund protection. Any listing, any sector, anywhere, Booking Protect has you covered with the world's most comprehensive refund protection product. To find out how you can partner with Booking Protect to give your customers a better buying experience, more peace of mind in their purchases, and how you and your organization can use your partnership to create a new stream of revenue for you and your organization, visit www.bookingprotect.com. Once again, that's www.bookingprotect.com. Also, I'd like to mention, while you're visiting the bookingprotect.com website, do not sleep on the blog. Got a lot of great stuff on the blog right now. A ebook about customer service. We have a new ebook coming out in a couple weeks. We are about to start doing some webinars. There's a bunch of content about managing data, using data more effectively, creating opportunities to grow your sales. All kinds of really great stuff that will help you utilize both your partnership with Booking Protect and offer you resources to help you grow your business. So once again, make sure you're visiting bookingprotect.com every day. There's going to be something new there, something exciting. My guest today is a guy called Charles Davis from Tailgate House, which is a really, really cool organization. Now, Charles was introduced to me a couple months back by a common friend that we have in common, a guy called Corey Gibbs, who Corey's been on the podcast numerous times. Corey said, you got to talk to Charles. So I did. And I really dig what they're up to. If you go to the Tailgate House website, you're going to find out that they are kind of the premier organization in the country about taking and creating experiential marketing experiences for, right now, it's a lot of college football. But they've just recently, since we've done the podcast, they did some horse racing. They've done. They have the capability to do baseball, basketball, anything. It's a really cool thing where they take shipping containers and turn them into luxury event spaces. And so we talked about a whole lot of stuff on here. We talked about brand activation. We talked about marketing. We talked about identifying opportunities. We talked about helping grow fans, getting people off their couch. We talked about a whole lot of stuff. So here's my conversation with Charles Davis on the Business of Fun. I want to welcome my friend Charles Davis from Tailgate House to the Business of Fun podcast. Charles, man, what's up?
Hey, Dave. How's it going?
Oh, man, it's good. It's good. I'm excited to have you on. I think more and more lately I've had lots of people on the podcast with a University of Alabama connection. You fall into that category, like Taryn Wack. I met you through my friend Corey Gibbs, so I want to give Corey a little shout out before we get started. But what is interesting about you and why I wanted to have you on to talk on the podcast was Tailgate House does some really cool stuff with shipping containers, right? And experiential marketing at football and events all over the place. And I think the first time I talked a little bit about the experience I had with Yellowtail Wines way back in the day, back probably when I don't even think I had any gray hair at that point. And it was like, I wish I had something as cool as what you have now. Just so to give everybody like kind of an overview of what you are, who you are and what you do, can you give us a little intro to what you're working on right now?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm excited to be on here, so I appreciate the invite. So my name is Charles Davis. I'm the founder and CEO of Tailgate House, and we're a sports experiential hospitality company that's focused on creating experiences and around sports and entertainment properties. So we have a very unique product that's a little bit different than what's offered today with the typical tent, but it's a shipping container that we modify into a portable luxury suite. So we like to say that we brought the suite outside the stadium and have an interior kitchen, climate controlled, granite countertop, stainless steel appliances, outdoor lounge with furniture, and then a rooftop deck for up to 35 people to either overlook the track or the experience outside the event.
Yeah, and it's like really cool because I know that I saw pictures of an event you did with Vineyard Vines, and it's really cool, and it's I think as everybody struggles more and more to get people to get off their couches and come to the track or to the football stadium or the baseball game or whatever it is, things like this are really, really awesome. And especially with like all the facilities that you have available, it's just great. I was kind of curious of in the couple years that you guys have been doing this thing, what are some of the like best practices about creating an experience that you've learned? And specifically how you're able to attract demographics and people that might not necessarily always want to come out, or that the leagues and the teams and the venues are having trouble getting into the building.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, you were starting to break up there. I don't know if I'm having bad service on my end, but yeah. So no, we partnered with Vineyard Vines for the Alabama Mississippi State game last year, and it's we've been going for about a year and a half. So it's been a fun, crazy roller coaster ride, and I think it's really good timing. We're here in Atlanta and just had the college football national championship and Super Bowl recently. But with technology and everybody starting to want to stay at home, and every property is having a hard time getting them there, I think we've brought the home to the tailgate, and it's been a lot of fun, and really from the experience side and working with the events, it's all about customer service, and I think it's really what it comes down to for us and our brand and reputation. It's what makes us stand out, and we have a slogan, and we always say it's just show up. So for anybody that we're working with, we want to do everything possible so they don't have to have any worry or stress on game day, and we'll take care of it for them. So it's really just about adding value for our guests.
Yeah, you mentioned too at being in Atlanta and then doing some stuff with the college football national championship game. I know that we were talking about it, and it was like it was a risky move too to like create this. I guess I don't know if the term would be village at the college football national championship, but can you talk a little bit about the experience there?
Yeah, so that was a different model. We're mostly focused on smaller, more corporate hospitality or brand activations, 50 to 75 people. But we found an acre of real estate, and we were a part of these all-inclusive, large-scale fan zones. First one we ever did was Bama FSU, and raised $215,000 for Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. And just seeing the success of that event, we ended up 25 days before the national championship, found this acre private real estate right outside of Mercedes-Benz, and we ended up throwing an all-inclusive VIP tailgate and watch party, and it was insane to put together. I would never probably do that again, but it was a great learning experience, and we had to get everything from liquor license permits, had to get the mayor to sign off on it, and just a lot to handle, but had over 1,000 people that came out, charged at the gate to get in, kept it open during the game, and turned it into a cash bar. So I think everybody really just, they want to be around the event, and with ticket prices just being so high, especially for the Bama Georgia game, they were able to come out and hang out with us right outside the stadium and be a part of that atmosphere.
And let me ask, that's interesting that you said that. So let me ask you this too, because I know one of the things, and where I see it, where your product fits into the market, is there's a number of places. And what the one you said was really great is that people want to be a part of an event. And even some ways and shapes and times, it doesn't even mean they have to go to the stadium. Might want to go into the stadium, right? They might want to still be able to walk around and hang out, because if only one of them's going into the game and they come with a group of a dozen, that might not be cool. So that's a really great thing. having that experience, having your eyes open to that, how has that impacted the way you do your normal experiences when you work in some kind of corporate hospitality or brand activation?
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting piece. And I'll use Vineyard Vines, for example. We threw a probably 250, 300 person tailgate for them for Bama, Mississippi State, right outside of Bryant-Denny Stadium behind the Walk of Champions. Literally, I think it's probably the best real estate that you can find out there, and try not to be biased because we are Alabama guys, but
I'm biased all the time. People, they just sort of expect it from me now.
Love it. But for that, we got all the Vineyard Vines people. They came down, they flew in. We did a lot of just content creation throughout the whole weekend for them, but they wanted tickets to go to the game, so I ended up getting them all tickets to go in, and their main guys ended up deciding not to go in the game, and they wanted to stay at our tailgate. And it's really what we've created. We keep seeing that more and more, that people would rather stay at our tailgate and at least, hang out with their friends and not have to get separated once they go inside the event. And I think, it kind of expands the footprint of the stadium if you can keep them involved with all of the game day activities, but then also, it extends game day more than the 4 hours. So a lot of pregame, during the game, and then post-game opportunities as well.
Yeah, I think the way you put it too, where it expands the footprint, and the time frame of the game is very interesting, because the thing is if you make it a party, right, around the stadium, and we're Alabama guys, they do it fantastically, right? Like just the same as if you maybe went to Ole Miss, right? There's a history of doing that and being a big event, but I think it's a lesson that a lot of people can learn from, because the thing is that if you're able to just throw big parties, right? Let's say you have 4 or 5 of these going on, different parties and brand activations that draw an extra 2,000 people. Some of them are going to go, some of them are not going to go, but it might draw more people in because there's going to be like TV showing games around. There's going to be a party atmosphere. There's going to be a community aspect. It's going to be fun. It's going to be doing all of these things. And I think it's like a real opportunity to help drive attendance into the stadiums, because maybe somebody's wandering around like, well, shoot, maybe I do want to go into the game, and then they have a fun time at the game. And I think that really might be, and the question I'm going to ask is like, what do you think about this? But maybe that's really an opportunity to drive attendance. I know we've talked about how people have hung out outside, but have you seen cases where the people who are hanging out outside, maybe dump their tickets onto people, and it gets people in where they might not have gone in before, which helps the experience both inside and outside the stadium?
Yeah, no, it's definitely interesting, and I see it all the time. So I think that combination, and even back to our national championship, we did a big raffle to get into the game. So thanks to Corey with Ticket Solutions, he helped us out with some tickets and ended up giving those away to 2 of our guests that came out to our tailgate. So, these everybody that came, really, not everybody, but probably half of them, they weren't going to pay the $1,500 a ticket to get in the gate, but just having that opportunity to possibly win tickets, and you're going to be down there anyways. I think there's a lot that you can do with that.
Yeah, I know an event, and as you were talking about Atlanta and being there too, I was thinking about things that I've done where something like this would just add to the experience. And an event that's like, it's his first year at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. But I was like a village like that outside of Hard Rock Stadium would be great, right? Because it is, it just creates more of a community. I mean, I keep laying on this word too much maybe, but community, right? And it's like a chance for people to connect and hang out and have fun, right? Because not everybody's going to want to go into the stadium the whole time. I mean, that's the example of Hard Rock Stadium is a bad one because the place is beautiful and they've like really done a great job of upgrading their food and beverage program. But there's a lot of times where people just, they just want to hang out a little more casual thing, and like, as soon as they go into the stadium, maybe they have a different way of approaching it, and it just seems like a great opportunity to engage people. And to connect them and to just build a community around the event, which I think is often missing.
Yeah, and absolutely. At first I think we thought it was more going to, what we're building is going to be more built on convenience, but it's really turned into community and, bringing everybody together on game day and really, tying in different charities to the event and getting everybody involved. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. And well, let me ask you this too, because, one of the things we kind of bonded over and talked about a lot when we first started talking was the experiential aspect and really how it was a driver for marketing, right? And with the rise of maybe influencer marketing and things of that nature, I don't know if experiential marketing either gets the respect that it deserves, isn't considered as vital a part of the marketing mix as it should be, or people just, maybe they're missing an opportunity here. From your experience, like over the last couple of years, how have you seen brands integrate these experiences and these brand activations into their larger marketing mix, especially when what you're doing is like you're throwing a party more than you have like some kind of influencer.
Yeah. So no, that's a good question. And I think, really, it's back to timing and everything going on. It's all about experiences. And I think, we have enough data now to back that up. And that's, the direction that's probably going to continue heading into. So I think there's a lot, one, that you can do with the experience and the content that you can create out of your event, and just being able to offer something different to your clients or your guests, and something that you can't buy. So you can't put money on what we've created, and so yeah, I think there's just really, one, we're helping brands stand out and connect to fans and, their specific audience on game day, but, help them get in front of it, and it's different than the typical tent that you're seeing. So, but it also, brings their client into a different type of space and kind of elevates that premium experience. So, yeah, it's, just with social content and everything that you can do before and after the event. And I think, people just think, it's 4 hours. This is all I'm getting out of it. But I think you really have to, look at the value and get a little bit creative, how you can, market the event before and, continue that after.
Well, I think it would really be like before, during, and after, right? Because you talked a lot about content here, and I'm curious to what kind of content you're able to create. But it would seem that like if you're thoughtful about it and you do it well, then you have the opportunity to create content, at all three parts of the journey, right? Before, during, and after, and it should be like they all should build off of each other. So you mentioned a few times, but what kind of content do you guys create?
Yeah, so most of it's videographers and photographers coming out and capturing the experience. But we've even before the event, we did a huge photo shoot modeling session, which I had no idea we were going to be a part of, and got them inside of Bryant Denny. We toured that and did a whole huge shoot for them. So I think it's really capturing that social media content and, showing them a return on their investment, just in getting creative with what we can do with our product, and then also just within the footprint that we have.
And as far as connecting to their audience, right, and offering people a premium experience, one of the things that I like to focus on is, I understand part of it's brand building, right, which is going to be sometimes difficult to measure in the short term, right, because if you're any brand, not just a big brand, but any brand, there needs to be a certain amount of long-term brand building. But in the case of these events like you're throwing and putting together, in the short term, like call to actions and like immediate return on investment, what kind of stuff are you seeing from your partners?
Hey, Dave, are you there?
I am. Can you?
Okay, sorry.
Oh,
you broke up a little bit. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, let me mark. It says 1755, 1745. Okay, let me ask you this question then, because you talked about connection and you talked about brand activation and you talked about all these things, and I know that in some ways, in most ways, all organizations have to do some sort of brand building, right? Long-term brand building that doesn't necessarily have an immediate return on investment. Looking at what you guys have been doing, it seems like some of it maybe plays into the fact that there might be some sort of short-term call to action. And from your experience with your partners, what have you seen as far as like short-term calls to actions or short-term like return on engagements? I mean, return on investment, sorry.
Yes, I think just within the event, there's different call to actions that we help create for them. So either, that could be a sign up, a giveaway, subscribe here, win this, win that, just get them involved in front of their product, and, comes down to helping them make more money. So I think there's a lot of different ways that you can do that. And, just getting them and continuing the sales process and finding new customers for them. Okay,
so and it depends on. It's obvious. I mean, it always depends on who the client is and what their goals are. But working with you, it's not just a. How do I want to put it? It doesn't seem dismissive. It's not like just a feel good thing. There's real impact that comes into play, right? So like depending on who it is, there is stuff that's going to actually drive a either tangible or intangible benefit for VIP clients, or if you're doing more of a direct consumer kind of thing, more consumer engagement and call to actions that will make sure that you get closer to the goals you're trying to achieve. Or am I missing that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you nailed it on the head, and it's kind of hard for me to say because working with different clients at different events, they obviously have different goals and laying that out. But yeah, I think you nailed it on the head.
Okay, no, it's good because I know that one of the when I talk to people about events or I talk to people about any kind of marketing thing, it's easy to get lost in things that you can measure or you can't measure that are meaningless though, but they make you feel good. It's like people throw around like clicks and impressions, engagement, all these things that mean absolutely nothing if they're not attached to something meaningful. So that's where I'm always looking for is like, well, what's going to be a meaningful return for people? Because if not, they might buy an event once, but they're not going to buy an event twice. And that's what, again, that's sort of why I was like really excited about what you guys are doing, because when we did these, I think it was 36 games with Yellowtail all over the country, you could measure the impact of them because it was like you would see all of a sudden you would see Yellowtail popping up in places that had never popped up in before, like Costco or large grocery stores, because people wanted it and they were asking for it, and that was like specifically related to the experiential parties at football games. And, and so I understand that the return on investment can be direct and real. And it's just a matter of, setting expectations and making sure people understand exactly what they're hoping to achieve. I mean, and that's kind of why I was asking a question like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, before I even met you, I was, very familiar with the yellow tailgating tours that they put on and followed that very closely. So, and that was really before I even got into the industry. So I think it really helped them stand out. And, you brought wine to tailgaters, which has never really been done before.
Right. That's exactly right. Yeah. Like I said, though, as well, way before I had so many gray hairs. So where are you guys focusing your attention now? What are you guys looking to do as we're in the spring? I guess it is now, but heading into the summer and the fall. Because I know like the summer and the fall would be like spring, summer, and fall are kind of like your big time of year.
Yeah, absolutely. So mainly in the fall, we started a year and a half ago at BAM FSU and started with one shipping container that my dad bought me for my 25th birthday, and found sponsors to give us $60,000 worth of free product put into that prototype, and we bootstrapped it for over a year. Now have some capital behind us, and we're excited to scale a little bit. So we bootstrapped and built a couple more throughout that process, and we'll have at least 8 containers by the end of June. So we're definitely going to be very busy, but it's mostly we're trying to make it more of a year-round business. There's so much to do in the fall with different events, and we partnered with Keeneland Racecourse last October. So being up there around football season, just extending that into NASCAR, horse racing, concerts, festivals, and, baseball as well. So different opportunities, but main focus for us is partnering with the sports property and helping them monetize underutilized real estate. So really to add value for them, to give them additional inventory to monetize and additional real estate as well.
Yeah, no, I think that more and more as people's attention is going to be challenged, right? Because there's no shortage of people demanding our attention, right? I mean, God forbid we're doing a podcast here that's asking people to spend 30 minutes listening to us. I think stuff like this that can, add another level of value to the external experience, right? The getting out of the house, getting off your phone, doing all these things is going to be tremendously valuable. And I dig it, right? And I think it's like for schools, it can be a valuable tool to help cultivate donors, to help, move people up the value chain from, maybe smaller donations to larger donations over time. It can be a really cool way to build an event that's going to reward donors at certain levels. It can be like maybe you're limited in the amount of redevelopment you can do in your building or the renovations you can do. I mean, again, it's very cost effective to do all kinds of stuff here, and the same plays out for any kind of big baseball, basketball, football, hockey, horse race, all these events. I mean, I think these things could really be a key part in improving and expanding and, helping elevate the live experience. But, I'm big on the live experience and building that sense of community. So, but that's just me. What do I know? Charles, how can people find you guys on the internet?
So they can go to our website. It's tailgatehouse.com.
Absolutely.
And they can contact us there. They can go to our social media. It's tailgate_house, believe is our Instagram. Everything else is just at Tailgate House. But feel free to reach out. My email is charles@tailgatehouse, or just contact info@tailgatehouse, and we'd love to talk and find a way to work together.
Well, awesome. Hey, Charles, thank you so much for doing the podcast, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you having me on here, and roll tide.
Absolutely. I realized I should have been saying, hey, y'all, or how y'all doing the whole time. But I totally screwed up. Once again, I want to thank my guest, Charles Davis from Tailgate House, for taking the time to talk to me on the podcast. As always, you can find out what I'm up to by visiting my website. It is www.davewakeman.com. I'd love it if you connect with me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Twitter. That's @DavidWakeman. As always, I love to get your feedback. So send me an email. It's dave@davewakeman.com. Also, I'll let you know if you are involved in the primary or secondary market, which I guess is pretty much everybody that's listening to this podcast in some way, shape, or form. I'm going to be doing 2 events in D.C. in June 10th and 12th, around the FTC's online ticket sales workshop. To find out more information about these events, that will include like strategy session, messaging session, takeaways, action items, networking, all kinds of great stuff. Send me an email, dave@davewakeman.com, and I will get you all the information for all the different events. If you like what's going on with the podcast, this is almost the 1-year anniversary of the podcast. I'd love it if you'd subscribe. Go to iTunes, go to Stitcher, go to SoundCloud. Check out all these places where the podcast is. Share it with one person. Like the podcast, subscribe to it, or leave a review. All of this stuff adds up. All of it helps. All of it ensures that I continue to deliver great content, really cool guests, and I get a chance to speak into your earbuds all the time. So make sure you do that. To me, that would mean a lot. Finally, I want to thank my friends at Booking Protect for being partners of the Business of Fun podcast. Make sure that you go to their website, www.bookingprotect.com, to find out how you can help give your customers just a better, more personalized, more relevant buying experience. Learn how you can put the premier customer service platform in the world of tickets to use for your organization. And make sure you dig into some of that great content that we continue to put up there every day, weekly. Just tons and tons of new stuff's going up there. And you'll find all of that at www.bookingprotect.com. Until next time, thank you so much for listening, and I hope I'll see you again soon. Take it easy.